here's a quick overview of the Black Wolf Tanami 3-person tent. We all know the deal there. Good for 2 people. You could get 3 people in there, probably not an issue. But as far as comfort goes and a little bit of extra room, 2 people would be ideal, especially the way I've got it set up at the moment. We'll give you a look inside. You can definitely get 3 people in there. There's plenty of vestibule space at the front. It's actually what I like about this one. Plenty of room for cooking or whatever you need to do in the front. So, okay, here's a look at the outside now that we've got the fly on. You can see that large vestibule at the front area, which actually has a ground chute that goes under that, but we'll get to that and have a look in a second. Plenty of headroom. Granted, you're probably not going to be standing up in it, but still plenty of room to hunch over a little bit and move about. Plenty of ventilation on this, 2 windows, 1 on either side. You can see that there. At the moment you can see that I've got those staked down out here. It's basically because we had a storm the other night and I wanted a little bit of ventilation, so what I actually did was lifted up the zips here. Lifted up those part of the way and just let me tighten those up and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, there we go. So that's what the fire looks like. You can open it up partially, let some ventilation in, but still have some good rain protection there. Obviously the rain starts coming from sideways or a certain direction where it's actually getting into the tent, you can just undo those guy lines and just shut the window completely. Another interesting thing here, which had me a little bit confused, I must say, originally, was this side here. Actually occurs on both sides. You can pull out the sides of the tent and guide them off a little bit to give you a little bit of extra space. Just let me close that back up again. And you'll see here there are some zips on the side. Just see if we can get over here to give you a bit of an idea where it is. Just under the window and run the full length of the tent almost. And you've got these elastic guy points. So you can actually pull that out via that center guy point, give yourself a little bit of room. But you can actually just undo these zips. One here, one towards the rear of the tent. Now, keeping in mind that this is on both sides. Hang on, I'll just step on that. There we go. So what that actually does is permits you to pull this side section out, which works a little bit better for ventilation because you can see the actual mesh comes all the way down there. And it actually gives you a little bit additional vestibule space. You'll get a better look at that when we go inside. But now this again on either side, there's the zip. Can't open it from the outside, so it's intended to be accessed from inside. And you can guy this out. Still have your water protection unless it's rain protection unless it's the really bad sort of weather and it's coming up from underneath. But I tend to just have those zipped up, but we'll show you from the inside in a sec. From the rear, you've got door access. Just go down there. Can obviously be staked down for a good seal, or can access from the back into the tent with the usual tabs for rolling it up, and can access, if I can find the zip, there we go, can access the tent from the rear and get inside from there, or obviously you've got your double layer there with your no-seam mesh. So you can open that right up and give you plenty of ventilation into the tent. Obviously on a nice warm summer's day, depending on which direction the breeze is coming, you can open both of these back flaps open, have the front and back open of the tent, and just let the breeze go straight through. Alternatively, you've got the 2 windows either side, which gives you plenty of options depending on which direction the breeze is coming. As you can see, all the zips work without issue, which is I guess a sign of a reasonable quality. All the storm flaps work pretty well, cover up the zips. One other thing to note, just while we're on the outside, there's little pockets for your guy lines. Roll them up, tuck them in there, makes packing the tent away nice and simple. There's no issues with your guy lines flapping all over the place, there's no knots or anything to deal with. Rope them up appropriately when you put them away. You won't have any issues with getting them out. There's the other window on this side. What have we got? 6 guy points. The rear, front of the tent itself, and as you can see at the front of the vestibule space. Now obviously you can wind the windows up, or roll the windows up. Tie-off points and hold them open here. And at the top you can see just there, this area here is actually clear, so you can let the sunlight in. We'll actually show you from the inside how effective that option is. Okay, going about round to the vestibule. So you can see the one pole that holds the vestibule up there. These are all just fiberglass, the pre-bent sections there, and then just the clip-ons here. You've all seen what they do. Some good ventilation options at the front, on both sides of the vestibule. Over there and over here. Standard configuration with the section there that can drop down to close if you're in heavy storm, for example, but she'd have to be pretty nasty for the rain to be getting up in there. Now as far as the vestibule goes, there's multiple configurations that you can have. You can open this front section, the front flap, which we're about to do now. Okay. And zip on the other side. Obviously you don't need to undo both zips to get in. And we're just going to throw that up on top. Get in. Obviously that can roll up as well. Now what you can do is, you can do that, peg it out if you want to give yourself a bit of an awning. And you've also got the option of popping these side bits up, leaving that front section staked down at the front and rolling these side sections up, which basically just undo and roll back and come back to here, and leave that front section down. It depends, if you've got a rain coming in from this side, you can leave those 2 sections down and access the tent from this side over here, or vice versa. If the rain's come from over here, you leave those sections down coming from this side. You do have an issue. Doesn't give you a great access point, but it would be good enough to get in out of the rain, and you're obviously dodging guy lines and stuff as you get in that way. Now one other interesting thing to note whilst we're on the outside is in these front sections, same as that front door that we just rolled up, is you've actually got these extra sheets on the fly itself. I'm a little bit undecided as to whether they're more effective out like that to let the water wash off, or whether they're more effective tucked back in and under like that. So I've actually got the matching one on the front as well. Now I think they're actually more effective like this, because when you've got them on the outside, they actually interfere with with staking the tent down. So it looks like they're actually meant to go back inside, which is quite interesting when you get these tents, and some of them have got these features, but they never actually mention what the features are for, or how to use them, or their desired intent. So that's a little bit disappointing, but a little bit of guesswork never hurt anybody. Okay, so you can see from in here, plenty of space between the inner tent and the fly. And you can see I've actually set this a little bit incorrectly when I was fighting it the other day. I should be doing these tabs up here, just the Velcro tabs to hold onto the poles, which will hold that outer fly, hold the fly out a little bit further. But because I haven't, you can see it sitting a bit closer to the inner tent. That's my issue, and pretty much put that down to laziness. there's your ventilation, so plenty of ventilation through there. Okay, obviously the mesh is doing itself a good job because you can see all of these little flies all over the place, little buggers. Okay, yeah, let's jump in here. Just a standard D-size D door. Obviously it's a little bit more comfortable in here than it is in the other smaller tents that I've got videos on. There's one side there that you can see, that little bit of extra vestibule space. It's not going to give you a lot, but you can unzip it from the inside and you've got access to the outside. What I did notice is when I stake out those outer points, it does help the ventilation quite a bit from underneath. You can lift those quite high above that bucket floor and let a bit of the breeze in, so that helps quite a bit. Obviously that's no seam mesh, so if you want to keep the bugs out, need it closed. One thing that it did come in handy for is the dog. At night when he decides he wants to get out and go and take a leak, rather than getting up and opening the front door or opening the back access point, I can just lean over, open that little thing there. He's only a staffy, so that's small enough to let him out. Just hold that flap up and out he goes, and he knows how to get back in. As far as the inner tent goes, you can see that both of the sides are all mesh, so plenty of ventilation there. Little pocket on that side, and if we spin around and pull that out, you can see quite a large pocket on that side as well. And as said, you can see that hole on this side opens up. There's the window open there as well. Now, as far as this camp stretcher goes, I think it's around about 190. I believe the base, the floor space is meant to be, I think it's 2 meters by 2 meters, give or take. But unfortunately, because of the design, you can see it narrows at the top there. So by the time you even get up this height of that camp stretcher there, which is what, probably a bit over 30 centimeters, around about 30 centimeters high, so 12 inches give or take off the deck, you've already started to lose, that area. You're no longer at the 2 meters by 2 meters. So even though this is only, I believe it was 190 long, I'm actually touching, touching both ends there, and it does make a bit of an impression. I have had 2 of these in here, and they do fit in. They do fit in well enough, but you have to be aware that they do make contact there and there. Obviously, if they were lower profile ones closer to the ground, that wouldn't be an issue. But they do go in, but they don't push on it enough. They're only pushing at both ends, there, and they don't make enough contact to make the inner touch the fly wall. So there's no issues there as far as water coming in. Whilst I'm not very tall, and granted these camp stretchers are a little bit high off the ground, you have got the small mesh basket that goes in across the top. Well, it's actually not small, it's fairly large. You could put a lot of stuff in there. Hangs quite low, so when you sit up, it's pretty much hitting you on top of the head. Not a big issue, because these stretchers for me are a little bit off the ground, so I can just chuck stuff under there, and it is removable, so that's a nice option to be able to remove that. There we go, and it just can come straight out. Now, as you've seen from the outside, you've actually got some clear roof panels there, and a really nice option in this is these bits here unzip and they roll back if so inclined, and you've actually got that little window there, and that's repeated on this side as well. So that's nice if it's a mild day and you want a little bit of sunshine or just a bit of natural light to come in, and that can be closed back up again if the sun gets too hot. Now, I was in here in a storm the other night, a good storm actually. We've had a bit of a run of them, and proud to say that no water got in. Again, the same as I do with all of my tents, I've given them a coating of anti-mold and And the good news is, as I do with all of my other tents, I've given this a coat of anti-mould and water repellent as well, just to give them that extra protection. And just to look at the tent without the fly on, obviously you can see by this, they can be set up without the fly in nice weather. As said earlier, plenty of ventilation, big D door which can be opened up. And in this format you've just got the 2 cross pole design, nice clips on the inner, easy one-handed operation. I love clips, fantastic. Lots of no-seam mesh. There's the rear door. Bucket floor comes up nice and high on this one. You have to have significant flow through for the water to come in. Plenty of room inside. So just in case it's taken out the bottom, and dropping the rods onto the pins. There we go, just like that. So real easy. And there in that shot you can get an idea of the tanami, the black wolf, compared to the size of the Lux speed up tent, which is meant to be a 1 person. Just waiting on hopefully getting a nice storm coming through now, maybe a bit of rain. There's the hex beam up there. Hopefully we're going to get a bit of rain, so I'm packing this one away and we'll have that up and get it rain tested. Well, I've hit that with the hose, and it's the water beads off that really well. Really great runoff on that, probably mostly because of the design. But obviously with this fly, with the fly on the black wolf, had no issues in the rain through the storms, and pretty stiff winds with all the tie down points, and lots of stakes in there as well. So there we go. Just want to give you a look without the fly on, so it looks like. Obviously if you're in warmer weather you don't need to put the pole up for the fly. You can just go with the 2 poles. This one for me is for car camping. No issues with weight. I think it weighs around about the 6 kilo mark versus 1.4 for that one over there. And you can see the ground sheet attached to the main section. You stake that out as well. So big vestibule area. Plenty of height there. Okay, that's it.